Welcome to Eat Sleep Nerd, a podcast where you can check out, go AFK, and relax with us as we discuss all things nerd. Comic books, video games, movies, TV shows, and anything else that gets geeks more worked up than Daniel Craig in a vodka commercial.
Welcome to episode number 33. I am your dorky DJ, Corey Winter, and I am joined by my nerdy brother, Josh Winter, and back by popular demand, our geeky friend, Christian James.
What up?
In this episode, Thanksgiving, we're recapping all of the things that nerds have been thankful for this year. And please, before we start, do not forget to share this show on Instagram at Eat Sleep Nerd, and on Twitter, if it's still around, at Eat Sleep Nerds. Josh, Christian, how you guys doing?
What's up?
Doing well.
If the audience has not noticed yet, Jason's not here. We lost him again.
He had ample notice.
Ample
notice.
He's got some deadlines at work, so we're just going to give him a bye week. But thankfully, we have Christian James back.
Hello.
Because we had just such a fun time last week. But it's nice to have another voice. So you were taking Jason's spot.
Maybe permanently.
Maybe.
Well, it has come with more technical difficulties than expected. So.
See, I wasn't going to bring that up.
We figured it out.
I really had to.
We figured it out.
I swore I had this fixed like a few days ago. Sure enough, did not. But it's fixed now.
It was
Fixed.
a button.
One
button.
We have a great setup. And it really was one button.
One button.
A single button.
It always is.
We tried so many different cables and outputs.
One button.
Just wasn't working. But one button.
Who found the button?
I mean, you had a lot of crazy ideas first, but
Who found the button?
you found the button.
There it is.
It was really a large circle we went around to find this one button.
In my defense,
Doesn't matter. I found
it was
the
a
button.
bad interface. Like, that was bad UX. But it's all good now.
We got it.
Because Josh found the button.
Josh found the button.
There it is.
All right, so we're not going to really talk any news this week because at holiday time, a lot of things just aren't really happening. So we're just going to focus this episode kind of in a peak geek format, which we have not done in a while. We're just going to focus on just talking nerd for about an hour and just looking back at everything we have talked about this entire year doing this podcast, because we like to get all doomy and gloomy on this podcast and become grumpy old geeks. But a lot of awesome nerdy things actually happened this year. So I think, the fact that this week is Thanksgiving here in the US, I think it's time to, look back, see what actually the good things that happened this year in nerdy stuff. But before we do that, what have you guys been geeking out on this week?
So keeping with our trend of playing things that came out a really long time ago and then talking about it like it's brand new. Downloaded Sea of Thieves. Started playing that one on the old PC. And it's a lot of fun. It is very gorgeous in a cartoonish kind of way. And they're on season 7. So that's got to be at least 7 years that it's been out, right? And I think it's longer than that. I think it's more like 10. And it's a lot of fun. But it is very much meant to be a multiplayer game. Because you can solo it. You can. But you have to do everything by yourself. It really is like you're trying to sail a ship by yourself.
Raise the mast.
Yeah, like you have to it's really meant for one guy to be steering, one guy to be working the sails, one guy to be on cannons, one guy to be doing kind of everything else, just running around. Because like they took out a lot of the video gamey-ness that you would normally see in a game like this.
Yeah. So
like you can't pull up your map while you're steering. You have to go below decks and go to the map table and look at the map. So again, if you're trying to solo it, that gets really, really, really hard. And so there's like YouTube channels and Reddit pages and stuff like that dedicated to people who are trying to solo it. And for the most part, you can do it. But I'm definitely going to try to convince at least Corey to play with me because it is very difficult to do alone. But it's fun. I'm having fun.
That's not a good way to sell me on this. But.
Well, no, I mean, it's just, it is only difficult because I'm trying to do it by myself.
Yeah, so it originally came out in 2018.
Oh, so it's not nearly as old as I thought.
Yeah.
So I mean, their seasons are faster than a year. Okay.
What's that game that's supposedly coming out soon? That's another pirate
Skull
game?
and Bones.
Yeah. So is this just, why have that game if this one's still going strong?
Well, apparently that's what a lot of people are saying. So, I don't know.
I did not realize that this was like a continuously updated game. I thought it was just like a one-off.
No, it's never ending. It is a persistent world.
Huh.
That seems worth checking out.
It is. And if you are an Xbox Live member, it is free.
Oh, I actually
it is
canceled my Xbox Live.
Because it is a Microsoft game.
Okay, Geek Rant. I actually found out recently, I was going through my whole budgeting thing, and I realized I was getting charged for Xbox Live twice every month for the past like 3 years.
Nice.
Yeah, it was somehow still charging this old account for this Microsoft account I have not logged into for 3 years. Somehow still had updated billing information, but it also signed up for Xbox Live when I got my new Xbox with a new account, but I didn't realize it was still charging my old account, which I completely forgot about.
Ooh.
So they were getting me twice every single month. And then I canceled both.
That's like people with gym memberships.
Yeah.
It's like I'm not really going, so I don't think I need to pay for it.
Dude, I think my gym like took pity on me. They quit charging me.
Oh,
and like I know my contract is not up, but I seriously think because like this is embarrassing. I never went even once. Never even walked in the door.
I feel you. Actually, I signed up for Planet Fitness before I moved.
Yeah.
And then I moved. And so like my main store is still in Florence.
Yeah.
So it's like I think I have to go back to Florence to talk to them and be like, hey, about that.
I think you can do it through the app. I think you can change your home store.
Or you could just
close
your entire bank account so they can't even get it. I mean,
okay, so I have done that before when my subscriptions were getting out of hand. And it was like I couldn't even remember all the things that had subscriptions. And so I just went to the bank and got a new debit card so that I wouldn't even notice that something had lapsed until I tried to watch it again. And then I could decide whether or not I wanted to put in my new card.
That's kind of smart.
Is it?
I mean,
it's kind of the lamest way to take care of that problem. like fix my problem without taking any accountability. That.
I mean, there's apps out there like websites to let you know what subscriptions you have.
Yeah.
That'd be a lot easier.
Yeah, but I don't want them knowing what I'm doing.
So instead,
I went to the bank and got a new debit card for free.
This is straight out of Friends, the TV show, because Chandler and Ross did that.
I just want to quit the gym.
Yeah. All right. So Christian, what have you been geeking out on this week?
Oh man. Well, it's still been a weird week because I was at work and then having like 9 days off. So I chose to do some catching up on, starting with Andor. Josh, you were right again. Slow start.
Josh was right.
Slow start. But I'm probably going to get back into it just to see what happens. Star Wars. Actually, I had a discussion with my brother because I was talking to him about the podcast. So we were saying, like, is photography nerdy?
I would say so.
Yeah. I mean, anything is inherently nerdy.
If you're a nerd about it.
If you geek out about it, yeah.
Okay, yeah. We definitely geek out about it.
Yeah.
FYI, I'm a photographer. So is my brother. We were doing a wedding on Sunday. So, yeah. We were doing like an 8-hour wedding.
It's
Sunday.
Entirely too long.
Yeah, really long. It was really long because the couple was really like young. They were a younger couple and really handsy, especially with all their family there. So,
what, like with each other?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I did this wedding. I got groped. Got groped a lot.
Yes, with each other.
Would you charge more or less for that?
Definitely more.
Okay.
Which at the end, like, they did the whole getaway thing, got in the car, drove off. So me and my brother got in our car, drove off. And then the maid of honor called us, like, as we were right down the road. And she was like, hey, they want to do more pictures.
They left.
They left. Yeah.
That was like a whole thing.
They had 8 hours to tell us that they wanted more pictures. Didn't say a word.
Well, no, more importantly, they left.
They left.
They were gone to start a life together.
Apparently, they circled back around to get more pictures.
So what was the point of leaving?
Don't know. And for everyone out there, when the sun goes down in the wintertime, it gets frigid.
Cold. Yes.
So
Just so you know, it's over at that point.
it's over with.
Yeah.
So we made sure to slide that invoice into their inbox for that extra hour.
Yeah, as you should have.
Yeah.
100%.
All right. So Star Wars Andor.
Yeah.
That's
See, yeah, okay. Yeah, you were right. Totally geek out on photography.
So that's what I was going to say. Like, I thought the photography was more
No, I mean, that's fine.
geeky than Star Wars. Screw Star Wars.
All right. So this week I have been.
Yes, Corey, what have you been up to?
Man, I have still been playing Modern Warfare 2. I'm in prestige mode now, so I technically reached the top rank. But the way to do it now, it didn't used to be this way, but nowadays, when you reach the top rank, you used to just start over, but with all of the experience points you already had, so like you said, everything unlocked, you just kind of started over by one and just kept going back up. But now you actually just keep going in rank. So I'm in prestige, so I have maxed out, but I'm also still leveling up. It's actually kind of confusing. So I've been killing people pretty hard, doing a great job. And I have been watching Doctor Who. I'm finally catching up on Doctor Who, Jodie Whittaker's season. So the most recent 3 seasons, or series, as the British would call them. And I was talking to you guys earlier off mic that, you know, the whole thing with Doctor Who is that it's kind of been going downhill in terms of viewership. And I don't think it's really because of the writing or the acting or anything. It really just seems like it's dark. And so the audience is not as broad as it used to be because like it's not as family friendly as it used to be. So there are some really dark things happening during Jodie Whittaker's days on Doctor Who. So it's actually kind of a hard watch at times, but still good. Still a good watch. But I'm ready to be thankful for what we have experienced this year in nerdy things. But first, some programming notes. Hopefully Jason is back next week. We don't actually know. We haven't heard from him, but when he comes back, we will be discussing the entire first season of Star Wars Andor. That final episode airs this week, the week of Thanksgiving. So that will be episode 34 of Eat Sleep Nerd, where we will be hopefully talking about Star Wars Andor. Now, Christian, Josh, would you like to get into what I'm calling our peak geek discussion on nerdy thankful things?
The Peak Geek Thanksgiving Spectacular. I love a good fanfare.
All right. I don't really have any structure for how this conversation is going to go, aside from I asked Josh, Jason, and Christian to kind of make a list of just the biggest moments from this year that made them nerd out, whether it's something that happened in the news that we discussed on this podcast, or something that happened in their personal lives, or just anything nerdy.
Point of order. Corey, as a matter of clarification, Corey did not say, hey guys, make a list. He created a website. There were forms. You had to like expand on your list. There was a submission process.
It was anonymous.
So just to get that point across.
And it was not even my best work. I actually just flew that together in like a couple minutes.
There were spreadsheets.
Actually, that's a spreadsheet.
Was there a landing page?
Yeah,
it wasn't a landing page. So tried to get super organized with this because we were worried that there was going to be just too much we wanted to talk about. But with Jason not here, it kind of makes it a little bit easier. So Jason, you're missing out. So we're just going to go point by point, and from least nerdy thing to most nerdy thing. We're just going person by person, and just let's start our favorite thing. So Josh, let's just start with, I don't know, like your 5th favorite thing from this year. What was the
gosh?
Or your 4th? It doesn't really matter. This is all ad lib, off the rails. Let's just have a conversation. What did we nerd out on this entire year?
Okay, so things that I am thankful for, but not like over the moon about. I'm going to say some things that are looking good, but we don't know how it's going to play out yet. So, for example, James Gunn being declared the creative chief for DC.
Yeah, so I had that one on my list too. That was definitely like one of my top 5.
Yeah, so like don't get me wrong, I'm excited about it. I do think he's going to do a good job. He certainly has a passion for it. That being said, I find it just as likely in 2 years I could be looking back and being like, God, that was the worst decision of all time. Because you know what I'm saying? Like it's I'm not ready to say it was the greatest thing ever, but I am excited at the possibility.
I think that's the thing. I think that's why I'm thankful for it, is that the fact that they actually picked someone that has a proven resume with making superhero movies that actually don't suck. Someone that actually cares, has a proven record for caring about the characters he works with. I think the fact that Warner Brothers actually just recognized that they had a leadership problem, and not only got James Gunn for the director or the creative side of things, they actually picked someone that actually knows the business side of things as well. They went for 2 people, and they could have just picked one that kind of only knew some things on both sides. They picked someone that's special in the creative vision and someone that's specialized in the business vision. And so the reason I'm thankful for that is because Warner Brothers actually showed that they're listening to the feedback. They picked someone that they actually think could do a good job.
Yeah, I think where they were really lacking was vision.
Yeah.
And picking those 2 were definitely in the right direction. So that's really exciting. Because, everybody's been missing their favorite DC heroes.
Yeah,
and they need to know it's coming at some point.
Yeah, it was a collection of movies. It never felt like a shared universe.
Josh actually shared a TikTok with us where it was, we'll share it in the show notes. It was actually just a guy making fun of how they had this big shared universe, but there were so many plot holes and like nothing actually lined up at all. And
you've got some actors that are gone, some actors that are being canceled.
Yeah, it was
good luck. You have to make it all work.
Yeah. Yeah. So James Gunn taking over DC. Definitely thankful. That was actually, I had that on my list as number 2, my second favorite nerdy moment from this year.
As an adjacent point to that, I'm very thankful that Corey eventually took the time and created a dumpster fire sound effect for Warner Brothers. Can we get the sound effect one more time?
Yes, audience. It'll probably come back around at some point, but just for old time's sake, we haven't used this one in a while. There it is. There it is. Yes, got the truck and everything.
Back it on up.
Made that specifically for Warner Brothers.
It was a special request that I had like jokingly made 3 times in a row, and Corey eventually did it. And for that, I am thankful.
I think that's just tying this one up. I think that's the reason I'm so thankful for James Gunn and the decision that Warner Brothers made, because, and just the weeks leading up to it, it was a massive train wreck at DC Studios. So the fact that they were actually able to turn it around so fast and actually find some people to lead it in the midst of everything that was going on.
People who were willing to lead it.
Yeah. So yeah, definitely a top moment. I'll go ahead and do the next one. So I'm going to try not to get on a tangent with this one. This one kind of started in late 2021, but it was definitely a bulk of my 2022 was the late G4 TV.
Sorry, it's not funny.
The now twice dead G4 TV.
The defunct.
Oh my gosh. So
the double tapped G4.
And I'm going to try to keep this. Oh no. So I'm going to try to keep this one lighthearted because it is something we're supposed to be thankful for. And unfortunately it did not have a happy ending, but for the most part throughout 2022, G4 was putting out some really great content this year. And I watched literally everything they put out, from their X-Play content to their Attack of the Show content to their episode recaps for shows like She-Hulk and House of the Dragons. Like, they were putting out some really awesome stuff, doing weekly live shows. It was a fun time. They built a really awesome audience and interaction and everything. It was a fun time. So that became part of my routine every single week was watching everything G4 TV was putting out this year. So it really hurt when they pulled the plug. But the fact that I did get that, for about 9 or 10 months this year was definitely a highlight. So that was definitely one of my top 5 nerdy moments from this year.
I mean, think of it as as like a reunion special.
Yeah.
Sorry, buddy.
It's okay. It's okay. I'm thankful for what we got.
My condolences.
All right, Christian, what is going from least favorite to most favorite? What was your bottom favorite?
Bottom favorite. I'd probably say Multiverse of Madness.
Okay.
Interesting. So you were not around on this podcast when that movie came out,
Right.
and we had some pretty mixed feelings as hosts. Josh and I loved it. Jason, not so much. So let's go ahead and just get your take on it. How did you feel about that movie?
I usually find myself to being the avid fan of things like that. Because I've never gotten to the comic books, followed the stories that came out on TV and film and whatnot. But to splice that into my top favorite is the fact that all of Phase 4, loved it.
Interesting.
Loved it.
It's a bold claim.
Now, does this include Disney Plus shows?
Yes.
Interesting.
Because I was going to get into that too, is the fact that with the pandemic, we got all these Disney Plus shows. Disney definitely took that hard pivot to streaming. Yeah. Loved it. From WandaVision, Falcon and Winter Soldier, Loki, all those directions, all those storylines, all of that, it just seemed like what everybody has in the back of their head, like, cool, this is a superhero, this is what they do. But what if they have trauma?
Yeah.
No, there is no doubt they have trauma. We experienced that with Tony Stark.
Yeah.
Like, he flew up into space in a wormhole,
And
almost got
PTSD. Yeah.
blown to smithereens, had problems after that. But even the godly of more godly heroes have trauma.
Yeah.
As we see from Wanda. She's a psycho. But to go back to Multiverse of Madness, I am directly on the fence.
Oh.
The things that they...
So hold on. Why was this your big favorite moment of yours?
No. Multiverse of Madness was my least.
Oh, okay.
Yes. Because I was directly on the fence. But the whole Phase 4 was my favorite.
Okay.
But yeah, Multiverse of Madness, it was I'm directly on the fence because the direction they went on, the cinematography, the whole story, dug it. Some little things that went in there as in the really cheeky horror movie elements could have did without. Because it was the time they were in the tunnel.
Yeah.
And Wanda just pops up. You saw that coming. It was no surprise. You definitely saw that
Honestly,
coming.
I think that's my favorite scene in the movie. Was that scene.
And it's okay, so the door closes. They wait there for a full minute and a half.
Yeah.
Just to see if she's coming through. Why?
And also,
Why?
had they not noticed the giant hole where she came out?
Exactly. So with that whole minute and a half, they could have gotten through the door, gotten the book with no problem, and then problem solved. So there's a lot of things I was just that would have worked back in the 80s. But right now, it's not for me.
All right. So let's keep this train moving. So Josh, you're next up on the list. Favorite nerdy things from this year?
I'm going to say all of our DC Universe returns. So a lot of people agreeing to come back this year.
Mm-hmm.
So the biggest one obviously is Henry Cavill.
Yep.
Right. That's just he's back. Like he's in. But even Affleck, who keeps agreeing to be Batman again, even if it is just cameos or glorified cameos or small parts or whatever, he keeps agreeing to be Batman again. So I'm the biggest Batfleck fan ever. So I'm thankful for anything we get, but I think he's so consistently agreeing to be Batman that it gives me hope that he's also going to re-up and continue to be Batman.
Yeah, so I will note. So I'm looking at our anonymous submissions that I asked everybody to put together. Henry Cavill as Superman was number 1 on all of them.
Nice.
So I kind of figured that one was going to come up. So yes, definitely Henry Cavill and Affleck coming back are probably the biggest moment this year for nerds.
Yeah,
because it just was not. It was not meant to happen, but somehow it happened.
It made it
Or
happen.
maybe it was meant to happen, but there was no hope of it happening.
It was meant to happen with slight hesitation.
Well, no, and I think it ties back into getting Gunn, because I don't necessarily know that he's the one who's just like, yeah, we got to do this, but the fact that there is now a person in charge, you know what I mean? Like before, I feel like everything was kind of being decided by committee, and you never want things decided by committee. That's terrible. You'll never get an answer.
Well, I think what we should be thankful for this year, related to this, is Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
That was mine.
Dwayne mother effing The Rock Johnson.
So really, if there was a number one thing we should be thankful for this year, it's The Rock, Mr. The Rock, sir.
Mr. The Rock Johnson. Old Rocky Rock Johnson.
Rock. Yeah.
So yeah, I just taking it back a little bit. I mean, yes. So Warner Brothers had just this weird about face where the vast majority of the life of this podcast so far has been dogging on Warner Brothers in DC.
It was so easy.
It was so easy. They did not make it hard on us to find something to poke fun at every single week.
Purposely trying to make the wrong decisions.
Yes, and within a couple of weeks, we got so much to be thankful for. Yet again, not much has really panned out so far. Like there's still a lot to come. So
it could still go wrong.
It could still go wrong. But in this moment, everything seems to be awesome. So Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson kicked off everything, and now we have Henry Cavill back. We have Ben Affleck back, and that's a lot to be thankful for, despite all of the Batgirl drama and everything behind the scenes with The Flash and everything. So,
and Black Adam wasn't bad.
It wasn't.
Loved Black Adam. Yeah.
You know, just thinking about it, with how businessmen are these days, do you think that was the plan? To be so terrible for so long?
Like just even bad PR is good PR?
Yeah, well, not necessarily bad, as in like being bad for so long that their little victories are so big.
I've thought about that.
Like just any news that isn't terrible is good news.
Yeah.
If they just set the bar so low.
So if you give if you take and take from all the DC fans and then just slide them a crumb,
a little Henry Cavill shaped crumb,
they'll come back for more.
I mean,
they'll wonder where all these crumbs are coming from.
Can you see the board meeting? What can we give them? What's Henry Cavill doing? A TV show that he hates. Okay, let's send him a message.
Big fat check.
Yep.
All right, let's keep it going. So next up on my list, this is kind of a surprise pick for me. I put it at number 4 on my list. The fact that we finally got a Halo live action television series, despite our mixed reactions to it. We still got something we have been asking for 15 years. 20 years, really. So, I mean, is there room for improvement? Yes, but I'm thankful that Paramount actually made something.
I mean, this is true. I get what you're saying.
Yeah.
And, I mean, I must fundamentally agree because I'm going to watch season 2 when it comes out.
Yeah.
So, it must not have been awful.
I actually have fond memories of watching it. I wish they, could retroactively cut out that Magical storyline, but
yeah.
Overall, I had a fun time. So I am looking forward to season 2. So I'm thankful that we got a live action Master Chief.
Somewhere in the future, when he's listening to this, Jason groaned when you mentioned the Magical storyline.
Yeah. All right. So Christian, what is your next up on the list?
Well, since we got into it, I'll keep it short. Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson.
Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson. Okay, yeah.
Not just for that reason, or is there other reasons?
No. I mean, there's other reasons.
Okay.
Well, I mean, Sort of. Well, what I was going to talk about was the fact that he came in, stepped on some heads.
Like a wrecking ball.
Like a rock.
A rocking ball.
Stop.
And, just got things done.
Yeah.
Like, he made his movie. He has a definite plan, unlike the rest of them had or didn't have for the future. So
He knows where he wants it to go.
he knows where he wants it to go, and he's determined to get it there.
Even
Pretty
if
thankful.
even if factually it makes no sense. But I get it.
Thus, why we have James Gunn to make
Right.
it make sense.
Good luck, James Gunn. You have your work cut out for you. So, Josh, next up on your list.
I mean, I've only got one more, and it's my big one.
I see what I think is your list. Yet again, this was anonymous, but I'm pretty sure this was yours. You have two more, actually.
Oh yeah. Okay. So sorry, I'm so blessed that I frequently lose track. No. So this one is multi-layered for me. One for a very sentimental reason, and one for a very materialistic reason. Top Gun Maverick.
Yes, that is number 3 on my list. So yeah, I definitely agree.
Yeah. It really had no right to be as good as it was.
Right?
It's okay. So I'm a Tom Cruise fan. Generally speaking, to me, if Tom Cruise is in it, I'm probably going to enjoy it. That being said, this wasn't just like a good movie. This wasn't just like a good Tom Cruise movie. This was like genre and era defining amazing movie.
It was a theatrical masterpiece.
It really was. And there's no irony when I say that. I mean that wholeheartedly. And I feel like objectively that is true.
Yeah.
I don't think you'll find anyone who would not say that it stands on its own merits. So that's the sentimental issues. It's just an amazing movie. Absolutely phenomenal. On the materialistic side, I frequently use that as demo footage.
Yeah.
When I am selling home theater equipment.
Feels like cheating.
Oh, dude, it's so easy. It's just like, why don't you just sit down here for a second? We'll watch a quick clip. And it's I always do the one where the scene where Maverick runs the course to prove that it can be run.
Yeah.
The way that he says it should be. And it's amazing. Again, it's one of the IMAX scenes, so it takes up the whole screen, so it feels huge. We demo it on a 120-inch screen, so it's massive. 7.2 surround sound system. Literally, it's you can feel the plane turning and twisting.
You also have a subwoofer the size of a car.
So
that shakes the entire building.
Definitely helps.
So it's a triple ported 15-inch subwoofer from Definitive Technology. It's called the Descend 15, and it pushes 45 inches of air. So you can literally feel the air pressure shifting in the room every time
it's pretty awesome.
It goes
Christian,
by.
if you have not gone there for the demo room yet, you have to go.
I'm going right now.
Yeah, it's pretty awesome. But yes, so thank you, Tom Cruise. We have sold dozens of copies of your movie because half the time, as soon as that's over, they're just like, is that on disc yet? And it's like, yes, it is. But also, you've made me a lot of money. So yeah, Top Gun Maverick. That's where it's at.
And I'll just continue that because, I love going to the movies even when the movie is crap. I mean, I just enjoy the atmosphere and getting to eat my snacks in a dark room. And
the experience.
Yeah, the experience. Yeah. And there have been some awesome movies the past couple of years, like No Way Home. That was a big event movie that was just a lot of fun to experience opening weekend. But Top Gun Maverick, that really made going to the theater an experience. It made going to the theater fun again. It was fun when you first went when you were a kid and saw Toy Story or Lion King or whatever. It made going to the theater fun all around. There was nothing to not like about that movie. So definitely a fun time. Definitely on my top moments of this year. Mostly because it was unexpected. No one told us going into it was going to be this amazing movie.
Yeah,
we just had to go see it for ourselves. And sure enough.
I was expecting B plus.
Yeah.
You know, like serviceable military movie.
Like, I think it was right before that movie came out or right after, we had our Eat Sleep Murder episode where we talked about is nostalgia ruining movies. You know, you could assume before this movie came out that it was just kind of trying to bank on nostalgia like so many other things have recently. But no, there definitely was some nostalgia in that movie, but it also stood on its own.
Yeah, you do not have to have seen the original movie to think that is just like one of the greatest movies ever.
Yeah.
But also, are we going to act like that wasn't going to be a good movie? So we got Tom Cruise in Mission Impossible hanging off a plane. And he wasn't going to make a good movie after that?
Yeah, no, right.
Oh, I mean, no. It could have just been mid.
True.
Yeah. A lot of, it's sequelitis, right?
Yeah.
Like most of the time they know they have a built-in audience that's going to go see it. So they don't have to try. They can get by with a mid script. No, like I want to say it. Maverick was better than Top Gun.
Oh, yeah.
Like infinitely better than Top Gun.
Oh,
it surpassed the original. It Dark Knighted its own Batman Begins.
Yeah.
Oh, right on.
All right, Christian, let's keep it going. What's next on your list?
To keep the topic going on sequels, I'm excited and thankful for Mr. Keanu Reeves.
Yes, Keanu Reeves back as Constantine.
And the fact that he's just willing to keep making John Wick movies.
Facts.
Yeah. And they still look good.
They still look awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, talk about a franchise that you could start phoning it in on. Like they could have, and they don't.
They don't.
They make each one more crazy than the last one.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
Like, I can't imagine him stabbing someone in the head with the hilt of a gun more times.
Yeah. No, I mean it's so like we're not getting John Wick 4 this year, right? Like it's pushed to
It's
next
coming
year.
out early next year. I think it
was like March or something, right?
I think it's March, if not a little bit sooner. Yeah.
Okay. So like, cause I remember 83 years ago that originally we were supposed to get John Wick 4 and The Matrix Resurrections
On the same day.
And Corey and I were going to make a double theater day. And then the pandemic. Yeah. Which is okay because
Resurrections sucked.
Yeah, it would have been
awful.
It would have been an amazing movie and a movie that I walked out of, and I don't walk out of movies. Like I don't think I've ever walked out of a theater before, but if I had, yeah, I would have walked out of Resurrection.
Yeah, I'm surprised we didn't like push stop because we were at home watching it. I'm surprised we didn't just turn off the TV. But
I think
gone outside.
I think it benefited from being short.
Yeah,
because by the end, when it was getting absolutely ridiculous, then it just ended. So maybe right about the time that you would have turned it off, it just ended.
Yeah.
So I don't.
Anyway, Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. Anyway, Keanu Reeves though.
Keanu Reeves though.
Yeah.
Like beyond being the one of the best action stars, he's just a good person, and just so thankful that he's willing to stick around.
Can we talk about him just for a second? Because I'm glad you said that. Like one of the best action stars. If you actually think about all of the movies he has been in, he's been like in the biggest action movies of all time.
Right?
Yeah.
Like, what? How? Like, he's not. I mean, he is good, but of all people to be in the best action movies of all time, Keanu is not the one that comes to mind. But then when you look at his resume, it's like, oh no, he has been the leading man.
He literally is.
Like,
yeah.
But yeah, so I also played. So Cyberpunk came out a couple years ago, but I really just now played it this year because it's finally fixed. And Keanu Reeves, you know, the big thing that came out before that game was released was that they announced that Keanu Reeves is actually one of the supporting characters in that game. And so I finally played that game this year all the way through. And Keanu Reeves, you know, I kind of figured he was going to be kind of like just a one-off character in like a mission or two. No, he was actually like the big storyline of the entire game. And so he was actually in the game for a majority of the story. And he killed it. Like it was surprising how it was Keanu Reeves, but also not Keanu Reeves because the acting he was doing was so different from what you typically expect of him. Plus it was a video game. So yeah, so Keanu Reeves just all over the place nowadays and just killing it.
And again, could have phoned it in.
Could have phoned it in.
Didn't.
It's very surprising that we got Bill from Bill and Ted.
Oh my God, yeah.
to be
One of the greatest action heroes of all time.
One of the greatest.
So yeah, I mean, and just tying it back into what you kicked it off with is that he's back as Constantine. An announcement that yet again, no one really expected to ever happen. Because we have wanted a Constantine sequel with Keanu Reeves ever since the first one came out.
Surely that ship sailed a decade ago.
Yeah, like in what universe does Warner Brothers, right?
Yep.
How do they look at that original Constantine movie and think, oh, we should make a sequel out of that? Because from a business decision, it doesn't really make any sense. It was not a blockbuster.
No, it became a cult hit.
Yeah.
But I think it was you. No, I think it was Jason. The last time we talked about this, and I think he hit it on the nail on the head. I think Warner Brothers was just so desperate for a win, for some goodwill from people.
And if you need goodwill, go to Keanu
Reeves. Guys, we're in the toilet. What are we going to do? Well, we got The Rock. What else do you want? Keanu Reeves.
Yeah.
I need Keanu Reeves. Okay.
So yeah, definitely thankful for you, Keanu Reeves and Constantine and just everything he's doing. I'll keep it going. My next up, David Tennant, back in Doctor Who.
Nerd.
Again, for like the 15th time.
Because he is now the 10th and a half, the 14th, and isn't there one more time that he was the Doctor?
So I mentioned I was catching up on Doctor Who, and in Jodie Whittaker's, I think it was series 12, there's actually a new storyline that... And I'm not going to try to explain it in any detail because it kind of confused me. But
hashtag Doctor Who.
They started sprinkling in some new doctors that were like the Doctor. As you were watching, it's just like, who are these doctors? They're not the doctors. And it was the Doctor. So it was all very confusing. And they finally explained it in like the end of the season where before the Doctor ever became the Doctor, there was a time in, I guess, her life, but their life that she had completely forgotten. And so back before there was ever the first Doctor, there was other doctors. And so that kind of like, so the whole Doctor numbering system is whole. It's all
we're like starting in the middle of it.
Yeah.
Okay. But, and this is a tangent, but isn't it part of the Time Lord lore that they only get so many regenerations?
Yeah, it's not the end of Matt Smith's.
He re-upped.
Yeah,
using timey-wimey stuff.
Anyway, so the story actually goes, and I guess it's like the big part of it is that the Doctor was the original Time Lord. Spoilers: she was the original Time Lord, and so all of the Time Lords after her were actually essentially clones of her, and so they had a limit on the regenerations, but the original Doctor, the original Time Lord, did not have a limit, so she could actually regenerate as many times as she wants. Yeah.
They need to bring back Russell T Davies. This is getting a little out of control.
All of that to say, David Tennant could be any number of doctors. So anyway, he is back. It was announced a while ago and, everything, but we finally got our official first look at David Tennant back as the Doctor officially. He is, as of this recording, the current Doctor. Which I didn't think I was ever going to say again. Like you would expect he would come back for like specials and stuff, but the fact that he's like
the current
doctor, that's pretty cool.
What a time to be alive.
Like the time of our lives. All right, we got a couple of more. I think we got a little bit more time to kill. So, Josh, you have another one on your list.
I mean,
I know you do.
I mean, yeah. Like, are you ready for me to bring it home? Like the ultimate thing that I'm thankful for as a nerd.
Yes, go for it.
Star Trek. And I mean that like in a few different ways. So the easy answer, the simple answer is we got Strange New Worlds this year, which is like the return to form for Star Trek. Episodic, optimistic, just good storytelling. What I did not expect was that it would awaken something inside of me. And in the time since that show came out, which was like summertime, right? Like May, June, something like that.
Sure.
Like late summer.
I don't know.
Since then, I've probably watched about 30 years worth of Star Trek. And
I was going to say like 30 episodes.
No, because I've now watched all of the movies, all of Star Trek, the original series, all of the Next Generation. I'm halfway through Enterprise. Obviously, Strange New Worlds. Finished that. I'm, as of yesterday, caught up on the Lower Decks.
Yeah.
Which is amazing.
Yeah.
But and I talked about this. I can't remember if I talked about it on the show, but like, the last couple of years have been pretty rough, and I needed something hopeful and optimistic, and that promises a better tomorrow. And so for me, in a lot of ways, I feel like Star Trek saved me a little bit, because it reminded me that it's okay if things get dark or get sad or don't go the way you wanted them to, because they might get better. Just because something is bad now doesn't mean it's going to stay bad. And especially if you are doing your best to be the best person you can, tomorrow should always be better. And I think that's the overarching theme of Star Trek. And so, as a cherry on top, you fell in love with it, Corey, and Dad has been a low-key Trekkie most of his life, I think.
Yeah.
And like even Mom watched it when it was old Bill Shatner. And I think that's mostly because he was a stud muffin.
The Studleys.
when he was younger. So no, like it was unexpected, because like they watched it with us. Like that was cool. I did not expect them to do that. Usually when I tell my parents to watch something, they kind of roll their eyes and begrudgingly agree to sit down and watch a few seconds of it.
It's accurate.
But like this was like a yeah, come on, we'll all watch it together. So like that was cool.
I was never invited.
Oh,
I'm not sure why. It's fine.
I mean, how old were you at this time?
Like 6 months younger.
Yeah, like this is like this year.
Oh.
Yeah. This is like every week the new Strange New Worlds would come out, and I'd go over and watch it at Mom and Dad's house, and I don't know why we never invited Corey. We just didn't.
I don't know why my mind skipped to younger age you.
No, like this is like that's actually my like I had never watched Star Trek at all until this year.
Oh, right on.
Yeah, this is something that I dove head first into.
And some other like Star Trek things that happened this year. We took Dad to go see
Wrath of Khan
back in theaters for
40th anniversary.
40th anniversary.
Yep.
We got tickets to go meet the Shatner here in Huntsville next year.
Christian, you got to get your ticket.
Oh, I did see that. I kind of want to do that.
Yeah, like apparently the expo is going to be off the chain this year.
Lots of Star Trek people going to be there. Yeah.
Right on.
But yeah, Star Trek, definitely on my list too. Christian, we're running out of time. So do you have any final ones, big favorite things that happened this year?
Okay, so this is in the middle, since I already talked about that big. This is a hard left. So I downloaded earlier this year this game called Truck Driver. And
what's it about?
So was the left turn a pun?
No, but
retroactively it definitely works. Yeah.
I downloaded it on a whim. I was like, I wanted something new, and I've spent so much time on this game.
Yeah,
just
those games will get you.
Just zoning out on the Route 66. You know what I'm saying? And it's been a long time since I've played a game that had like serious stakes. I would say serious stakes. It's a video game.
I get what you mean, though.
Yeah.
Epic scale.
Yeah, the epic scale kind of thing.
Yeah.
Not like sword fights, but you have to make it to a town that was like 6 miles away at going like 25 miles per hour, because that's what the speed limit was. So anyway.
No, I mean, I get it.
Get it, yeah. So, I mean, I've seen a lot of Twitch streamers, people on Facebook Live playing these truck driver games. Like, that's dumb. Like, why waste your time on that? I see now.
Yeah.
And it's probably been like one of the best parts of my year.
So no, I get what you're saying though. There's a guy that I used to work with named Dion, and he's just this, big burly, roll tide football. Anyway, but his like favorite game, the game that he would go home and play to like decompress, so that Farming Simulator.
Yeah.
And he was just like, dude, I go home and I harvest my crops and I just like tune out.
That's awesome.
I'm just like, you know what? I get it though. Like there's no stress. It is meditative.
Very much so.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah, because my old school game used to be Roller Coaster Tycoon.
Yeah.
Just like building the park. I even got to the point where that's like, there's no more room. There's no more land for you to buy. Nothing else for you to buy.
It is the single largest theme park of all time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, truck driver. All right. So to wrap this up, I'm pretty sure I've deciphered which list was Jason's because it was all anonymous. But he actually lists some things on here that we have not discussed, and I think they were pretty big things. So I want to give him a little shout out since he's not here. So going through his list, two of the ones that actually kind of go together.
It's kind of like reading his diary.
I know. Charlie Cox back as Daredevil.
All right.
Yeah.
And Vincent D'Onofrio back as Kingpin.
Okay. These are good calls.
Yeah, definitely big moments this year. What else? Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. A nice surprise in movie theater going.
Yes, that was a really strange input into the theatrical.
You saw it?
Yes.
What'd you think? Did your brain hurt afterwards?
What didn't I think? There was so much going on, and I loved all of it.
I somehow had the entirety of the human experience while watching that movie.
Yeah. That was that just barely did not make my top 5. But that was definitely something that
I'm glad it was on his list.
Yeah. Definitely worth mentioning. And then the last big one, I'm actually kind of surprised we have not talked about because it was so big and so unexpected. Hugh Jackman back as Wolverine.
Yeah.
I was tossing that one up.
That one hasn't really materialized yet. Just the announcement happened. So
Sure.
There's really not that much to say about that one yet, but it definitely was a big moment. Because yet again, like a lot of our things on our lists this year, it was unexpected. It was something that should not have been able to happen because he retired.
Yeah, he was like done.
Like as a man desperately trying to get out of it.
Yeah.
Just like, oh yeah, I'll come back.
Yeah. All right. So the year's not even over yet. Who knows what happens next month? Like,
December could be nuts.
As of this recording, I mean, yet again, we're not really talking about news this episode, but some big things are happening. Like Bob, what's his name? Iger is back as Disney CEO.
Effective immediately.
Yeah. Did you guys hear the story? Or read the story? Apparently, they contacted him on Friday. They informed him Saturday night that they were going to go with him, and then they announced it Sunday. Wow. Like it was a very quick turnaround because everything was going to crap.
I was going to say, tell me, old what's his face wasn't doing well without telling me old what's his face wasn't doing well. Yeah, I feel bad for him.
I'm sure he's doing fine.
Well, no, I mean,
yeah.
like
$50 million a
year. You're the dude who wrecked Disney. That's not what you want to be.
Well, the saying nowadays is my favorite job, or the job I'd really want, is to be a fired NCAA coach.
I mean, yeah, that checks out. And as Corey mentioned, I'm sure he's going to be just fine.
And I'm sure someone else is going to hire him because now he's got Disney on his resume.
Right?
Yeah, right.
I'm the ex-CEO of Disney.
Yeah. Jeez. So anyway, so yes, big things are still happening this year. The year is not over yet, but we just want to take this week, since it was a relatively slow news week, to just take the Thanksgiving theme to our podcast and just rewind a little bit to see what happened this year and what we were all thankful for and nerdy things. So guys, let's go ahead and wrap this up. Don't forget, next week we will be talking about Star Wars Andor as the season wraps up. Season 1 of Star Wars Andor wraps up. We don't have that much else happening anytime soon, but in December, we will be talking about Violent Night, the new movie. I'm going to be talking about the Callisto Protocol, new video game. Scary video game. Not sure I'll be able to get my way through it, but I'm going to try. Also coming out in December, Avatar 2, The Whale, and Knives Out 2. So,
Ooh, Knives Out 2.
yeah. So we still got some fun stuff to talk about this year.
Daniel Craig.
Daniel Craig. I'm thankful for that vodka commercial.
Yeah.
That was the most. That was the most.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, if you have not seen the Belvedere commercial starring Daniel Craig and directed by Taika Waititi, then you should go watch that.
Yeah, so that was our intro reference, if you guys did not pick up on that. So that will be in the show notes. It is the most ridiculous commercial of all time. Daniel Craig seems to be having fun again. So that's nice. That's nice.
That's nice.
That is nice. And also, listeners, please, it is a nice week to be thankful for this podcast. And you should show that thanks by sharing us on social media. Maybe not Twitter. That seems to be going down to pooper.
It may or may not be happening still.
No, I want Watch Eat Sleep Nerd to be one of the last tweets ever put out.
There you go.
Etch it into history.
I'm going to keep using it until it literally
Quits
blows
functioning.
out.
Yeah.
But yeah, so please share us. We'd appreciate it. We're so thankful for you listeners.
And remember to eat, sleep, nerd.